What do you guys think is the biggest hurdle to finishing building your house in Jamaica? Do you think it's the material prices fluctuating in price? I mean, they just seem to be going up every single day. Do you think it's the productivity of the workmen or finding good workmen? Do you think it's the financial resources to build a home, as in, especially if you're building with cash? Do you think it's hard to find spare savings in this economy to put towards finishing your house in Jamaica? What do you think the biggest hurdle is? I really want to know. Because I'm going to share mine. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Jada Brown Thompson. I am a realtor and property manager in Maryland, and my husband, and also a real estate investor. Let's not forget that. And myself and my husband Jerome are building a house in Jamaica, a 7-bedroom house in the Manchester area. And we have a series called Building Our Dream Home in Jamaica. Go ahead and check that out. We have videos detailing how we're building our house in Jamaica from overseas with twin children to eventually move in. And so our biggest hurdle, me and Jerome's biggest hurdle to building our house in Jamaica is finding reliable workmen. Oh my God, like the workmen are the bane of my existence, because I swear it is so hard to find productive, reliable workmen who do what they say they're going to do and actually deliver. Oh my goodness. So if you guys have been watching for a while, you know that our contractor was my brother-in-law, Omar, who is a wonderful contractor, but he lives in Spanish Town. So to transport his men from Spanish Town to Mandeville was just too difficult, because, you know, you're taking them from out of their area and you're bringing them to Mandeville, and then you're expecting them to give you a full day's of work. It was just too difficult. So we were like, okay, we've got to find some local masons to get this done. And when I tell you, I think I found a really good one, and I hope he keeps doing well. But I have to tell you about the experiences that we've had, because this is real, right? And so there's a lot of hurdles when building a house. I mentioned some of them earlier. For example, material prices keep going up. But at the same time, that is a hurdle, yes, financially, but you have to do what you have to do. Like, if the price has gone up, you have to decide whether or not you're going to buy the material at this time. One thing that me and Jerome like to do is buy enough. So when we buy blocks, we buy 1,000 blocks at a time, because we know we're going to need them eventually, and we know the price is going to go up. When we buy the sand, the gravel, all of it, we buy a big amount, because again, we're building a 7-bedroom, so we save the money. When we have it, we buy enough so that we're not victim of price increases, right? Because we know right now this war in Iran is causing the prices to go up. Everything is more expensive. But the thing about it is, like, with the material, you can decide if you want to buy the material right now or if you want to wait. These tradesmen, they don't give you that opportunity. So one problem that I have with, and disclaimer, not all workmen in Jamaica are like this. You have some very good workmen out there, but they're very hard to find. And when you find them, people hold on to them because they know that these people are reliable and responsible. So one problem that I have with workmen, this is my biggest problem, is that they want to hold on to your work without being upfront about their scheduling. Now, most of the workers that I'm talking about, these are like workmen that you hire for a day's work, whatever, even a contract. But they don't work with one contractor to know that this contractor, these are my workmen, and I create their schedule. They're not employees, right? They're like independent contractors. So they may have 3 or 4 jobs that they're juggling, and they may say, yes, boss, I'll be there next week, Monday. And then you prepare everything for them to be there on Monday. And then when Monday calls, then they're like, okay, I'll be there Wednesday. Wednesday comes, then they say next week. And it's like, now I have this cement getting hard because I'm working on your schedule and you told me that you would be there. And now here it is next week. You got to come the next week. So that's my biggest problem with them, is that it's very hard to schedule them and schedule yourself and have, like, let's say you have some people that are coming, maybe family that's going to help them out and help you out. And now everybody is like, well, what's going on? When are we going to meet? Because the workmen are saying one day, but then they know that they're still doing another job down the road, but they want to hold on to your work. So now your scheduling is all messed up. That's my biggest problem with the workmen. I have gone through maybe 3 masons because of this, because they're telling me, I'm going to come. And then it's like weeks and months go by and they never come. And like I explained to them before, I don't have a problem with you doing other jobs because you have to make money, you have to eat, you have to feed your family. I don't have a problem with you doing other jobs, but be realistic and tell me when you think you're going to come. If you can't come until next month, that's fine. But let me know that you're going to come next month, so then I will be prepared next month that you will be starting and I will have everything ready for you. I can let my people know. You know, just be upfront with me. So that's my biggest problem. The next thing with the workmen in Jamaica is that I have learned it's best to give them contract work. And I got this from Jerome's uncle, who unfortunately has retired, but it was a master contractor, right? And he told us, don't give them no day work. Because when you give them day work and they know they're going to come today and they're going to get paid for today, they have no incentive to finish the job. Because the longer they take on your job, the more money you're going to pay them. And they're going to go slow. They're going to run blocks so slow. They're going to do everything so slow because you're paying them by the day, right? But if you give them a contract, you want to see how fast they will finish the work, because they're not going to get paid until they finish the contract, right? And that was something that was different for me as a real estate investor in America than it is in Jamaica. And that is, in America, right, I have seen it done 2 ways. You give a contractor a contract, right? They want their pay in installments. So they may say, okay, give me 1/3 to start so I can get the material. Give me 1/3 when I'm halfway through, and then give me the last third when I'm done, right? Or they may say, give me half now, give me half when I'm done. But in Jamaica, it's like, okay, I want 100% when I'm done. So that was different for me, and I kind of like it because that gives me time to get the money. But again, the contract work is way better. And like the mason that we have right now, he's on a contract job. His contract right now is to run out 500 blocks in the basement, 350 blocks for the water tank, and that is what it is. Like, I'm not giving days work anymore because I've done that, and you spend so much money, and then when you look, the building is in the same place that it was before they came. Now, the next problem that I have with workmen, and I think this is cultural, but it needs to stop. Why do some workmen expect for you to feed them, okay, like feed everybody, on top of paying them, and then still provide rum? What is that? Can somebody please comment down below and explain to me why the workmen in Jamaica, some of them expect you to provide rum, and why is it okay to be drinking on the job? And like, when I've asked my husband and his family, why is that a thing? They're like, oh, it makes them work better. But I don't understand how being drunk on the job makes you work better, because if I go to my job here and I'm drunk, I'm gonna get fired. And if you go to any construction site here, like, you're gonna get fired and it's not gonna look good for you. So why is that a thing? But I'm just like, I don't mind, okay, on a Friday to cook and say, all right, here's food. Good job, everybody. You know, this was a hard week. But I'm not going to be cooking and providing food every day for you to come and eat all this food, drink up all my juice, and then you don't give me any discount on the work. I don't understand that. And then here's the next thing that I have a problem with the workmen. I don't even know how I can say this besides just saying it, is that sometimes you have people who are not telling the truth, right? So they know that you're abroad and they feel like they can tell you anything and you're just gonna go with that. And they may say, okay, today I ran out 200 blocks. And then you have somebody go and check. And it turns out they only ran 100 blocks. And it's like, now you've messed up our relationship because now you're fired and I'm going to find somebody else. But at the end of the day, this could have been a long-lasting relationship because I need a workman and you want employment. But now, like, you're lying. Or you have some people who will steal the cement off of your job site and sell it. And it's like all these little short-sighted things, because it's like, you think I'm not going to find out, but then I find out and now you're fired. So now you've messed up this relationship over what? You know what I mean? So those are my biggest problems with the workmen. The next problem that I have, and this is kind of like another cultural thing, like, you know, they say sometimes that Jamaica is on island time, and I've really had to adapt my patience sometimes in Jamaica because things can take longer. And part of that is good because in America, I feel like I'm always in a rush, and that's part of the reason why I want to go to Jamaica, to regulate my nervous system, because I'm always like, what's next? What's next? You know what I mean? What's next? What am I doing? What's the deliverables of this week? What can I do right now? It's very hard to relax. But my problem with some of the workmen is that their perception of time is severely distorted, okay? I'm expecting, if I am paying you, especially if you're doing day work, I'm expecting you to come from an appointed time. And I like to ask, what are your hours? And you say, okay, I work from 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever your hours are. And then you say, I take an hour lunch. That's what I'm expecting, right? So when you arrive and you say your hours are 9 to 5, and then you arrive at 9:17 and you leave at 4:07, and this is an exact time because this happened to me, that is a problem to me. When you take an hour and a half lunch, that is a problem to me because you're expecting to get your day's pay for the full day. I'm expecting you to work the full day as well. And so my problem is just that the perception of time of some of these workmen is horrible. Like, it's very relaxed. The deadlines seem to be open-ended, like it's not a closed deadline. And this can really clash with your schedule because you may say, all right, I can do the decking by July. But then when you have workmen who tell you they're going to come and they don't come, and then when they do come, they come late. Everything is not irie. Like, no. So I've learned that, first of all, don't always get your family from the country to come do your work, right? I've learned that. So it's a lot of things I learned, and let me go ahead and share them. So I learned, don't always get your family from the country to come do things because they may mean the best, but at the same time, it may be like a relaxed system because it's your family. So they may not feel the same way that they feel about a stranger. The next thing is, it's good to get masons or just tradesmen who are skilled, and that doesn't always mean going to like school, even though that's good if they have their heart certificate. but that means someone who can understand the building plan, because you have some of these workmen who will build the house that they think looks good, and it's like, I never wanted this, the plan says this, and they say, no man, because this and this. No, that's not what I wanted. Like, I wanted it to follow the plan. That's why I paid so much money for this plan. It's good to have contractors who have their employees or their reliable workmen that they work with, and it's their workmen, because sometimes when you're trying to organize these different workmen to come, it gets hard on you, especially if you're overseas and trying to be your project manager. That leads me to the next thing. If you have the budget and the capacity to hire a project manager, do it, because I am a project manager here, and I can tell you some of the things that are frustrating to you, your project manager is getting paid to do these things, and it might be worth the extra 10% that you pay to hire someone that has reliable contractors, hardware, they know what the material is going for, they know how to basically manage all these moving factors. That makes it easier for you, because it might get hard, or you may never finish your house because of all of these different delays, working through them, especially if you're overseas and you have the capacity and the budget for it. So, yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I don't even know. It was really kind of a rant because I'm going through this right now. But we have finally reached lintel and belting height. Woo! And I'm excited about that. So check out my next video, because I'm going to be talking about that and telling you about the new mason that we found, who seems to be really good. And I'll get back to you guys in the next video. So make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Make sure to check out some of the other videos we have in the Building Our Dream Home in Jamaica series.